Hello, this is Rob and Mike from the McClellan Financial Group of Asante Capital Management, and this is ThinkSmart with TMFG. So I was looking at the news from yesterday, and I see that they've announced the TFSA contribution room for 2020, which is going to be $6,000 again. And so no change from 2019. I guess we had our $500 increase a year ago, and until inflation picks up again, we probably won't see an increase to $6,500 for a few years.
Yeah, it's inflation's running at 2.5% to 3%, so it could be a while.
So today you had given me the subject of pseudo savings, and I wanted to get a better understanding of what you mean by that, and maybe share that with our audience.
Well, what pseudo savings is when people try to fool themselves into thinking they're saving money, basically by moving money between different accounts. So we all know that you have to maximize your RSP account every year. And the idea in the past has always been you save through the year, ideally on a monthly plan or at the beginning of the year, or at least at year end, and you take some of the money out of your pay you've made from work and you actually go put that to your RSP to reduce your income tax. So what's happened along the way is when people have any other account, let's say they had an open account even from inheritance or anything that's come into them, they go and they say, well, instead of doing that RSP contribution, instead of me giving you money this year, can you just move some money over in kind from the open account to the RSP account? And ideally, it makes them feel good because they've done their RSP contribution.
So they've done their RSP, they're going to get their tax break, so they'll get probably a tax refund because they've done it. And in their mind, they've done their savings because they've topped up their RSP.
Yeah. But ideally, when you do your RSP, if you look at your net worth, your savings has increased by $10,000, and let's say you're going to save $5,000 in tax, so you're increasing by $15,000. They still get the tax rebate from doing the RSP contribution in kind. But what they're missing is the amount of savings they have on the books is no longer $10,000 more than it was beforehand. It's just moved from one pocket to another pocket.
So in all likelihood, they've shifted money from one side to the other, have really not increased their savings, and then they get their tax refund, and my guess is they've probably spent that and haven't saved that additional money.
The idea of savings is it increases your net worth, right? And savings is really, if you do a calculation, we always say this when we do financial plans. We know what you make, we know what you pay in taxes, we know what you save, and the residual is what you spend, right? So the amount of savings you do is supposed to reduce the amount of money you spend. When you do an in-kind contribution, it doesn't affect the amount of money you spend at all.
So I always think of, which clients do I let off the hook here? And so I do a lot of in-kind contributions to tax-free savings accounts for my retired clients. So often the retired client has a good size open investment account. And each year we could shift over $6,000 each into a tax-free savings account. And all that means is that any future growth on that $6,000 or $12,000 for a couple is going to grow free of tax.
It's a great tax strategy. And for people who are on the time of life when they're redeeming money to live off, it's a fantastic strategy, right? Because once you're retired, there's no use to save anymore. The money's for spending. So
we're going to let them off the hook.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a proper strategy. It's a great tax plan and strategy.
So what we're really worried about is those that are approaching retirement and doing the same thing, whether they're putting money from their open account into an RSP account to get the tax savings, or they're moving their open account money into their tax-free savings account. And really all they're doing is shifting money from one pocket to the other, and they think they've done their plan.
There's really no savings involved at all.
So I always think of, what's the impact of doing this? If I did this 1 year, is there an impact? Probably not. But if I did this 3 years in a row, where I'm supposed to be saving, maybe $10,000 to $25,000, and all I've done is shift that $25,000 from one pocket to another pocket, and then I've spent the tax refund, I'm really no further ahead, and it's going to show up where?
Oh, end result. It always shows up in your net worth. I mean, the one thing we've learned, tax-free savings accounts have given us a great lesson because it never seemed like much money, right? It started at $5,000, went to $5,500. We got that one great year where we had $10,000, and then it's back down to $6,000 now. But when we look at those tax-free savings accounts, they haven't been around that long. But people's tax-free savings accounts are anywhere between $70,000 and $90,000. You know,
absolutely. I've got some approaching $100,000.
Between a couple, you can be approaching $200,000 in tax-free savings account, and that's not a lot of money that people put away each year. But look at the effect of it down the road.
Over time, it's had a big impact. And I guess what a lot of this comes back to is, you know, you and I both have concerns of our clients that are pre-retirement aren't putting enough away. And there's evidence that, you know, they're taking on bigger debt. So what happens on the debt side? What are some of the other things you're seeing that people are doing that they shouldn't be doing, especially in that, you know, 5 to 15-year window prior to retirement?
Well, this has been a big issue we've talked about in the last 2 to 3 years. And I guess the papers describe it as using your house as an ATM. And what it is because housing values have tended to go up so much in the last 5 to 7 years, the ability to borrow money on those houses increased also. And people think it's a friendly thing for the bank to increase their line of credit or their availability of credit on their house. Really what it's doing is creating a nightmare for the client, because as they continue to borrow more money on this, they create more debt. You know, our goal for every client going into retirement is to have all their debt fully paid off. It's very difficult to retire with debt.
Absolutely.
And
it puts added pressure on the income.
You know, when we see someone in their late 40s and 50s, and instead of decreasing their debt and decreasing their mortgage, they're borrowing money on to increase it, we know it's a retirement problem. And they may justify it by saying, well, I put the money into my RSPs to maximize it out, or I put it toward my tax-free savings account. But again, it's switching from one pocket to the other. And it's not a great thing.
I think the other impact that I see is, you know, call it living within your means. If you're already doing that while you're earning income from employment or self-employment, and you're already having to stop savings or increase debt, by the time you do stop work, that's not going to be a good scenario. You're not going to have enough income to match your expenses.
The funny thing is, when we talk, we always talk about our clients that we're worried about.
Right.
And the funny thing that they all have in common, the clients we worry about financially, they all make a lot of money. I've never financially worried about a client that doesn't make much money. Every client we're worried about is making $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
And the problem is their expenses went up to that level. And there are government benefits around, which are handy. If you're making $60,000 a year, the government and pension benefits aren't too bad, right? You get your $20,000 a year, and you can make up the rest through your RSP savings and all that. When people start making $200,000 a year, that CPPOS are just drop in the bucket, right?
And they're used to spending maybe $120,000 after tax, and suddenly they're thinking they can drop down to $60,000 after tax in retirement. Hard to do.
Yeah, CPP right? Isn't covering the restaurant bills, right?
No, absolutely. One of the other things that I've seen over the years is you know, taking money that you've saved, so you've saved money in your open account, let's say, and using that money to pay for expenses prior to retirement. So a simple example would be someone takes then $10,000 out to pay for a trip. The problem is saving is hard to do. You're doing it in after-tax dollars, so you're already dealing with only half of the money that you earned. You're finally getting it put away, and now you're taking that money that you've saved and spending it on a trip. And yet most clients I know want to retire and start to travel.
Yeah. The trick is they call it savings because they put it into an open account. Really, it's just cash flow.
Exactly.
And unless more money has gone into that account at the end of the year than when you started, it hasn't been a savings.
So what's the easiest way? How do you get around some of these issues?
The main thing is to the monthly savings plan is the best because a monthly savings plan reduces your available cash flow to spend. And if you save on a monthly basis, these aren't going to be issues. You're not going to be coming at the end of the year saying, well, I want to go and move my RSP contribution in kind from my open account. You're not going to go and say, I want to take my tax-free savings account. You have a monthly plan that takes that out of your cash flow. When you're working, it's got to be a bill.
You pay yourself first.
Absolutely.
Right. And we've preached that all along. I'm not a good lump sum saver. I'm a monthly saver. And that's how I've been doing it now for 25 years. And it works really well. And each year I go and look at it and I up it a bit. Even if I'm upping it from, if it was $500 a month, even if I'm going to $550, that makes a big difference on a certain plan.
Even helps returns over the long run.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what Pseudo Savings is about. Try and avoid it at all costs. This is Rob and Mike with ThinkSmart with TMFG from the McClellan Financial Group of Asante Capital Management.
You have been listening to the McClellan Financial Group of Asante Capital Management Limited. Asante Capital Management Limited is a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund and Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada. Insurance products and services are provided through Asante Estate and Insurance Services Incorporated. This material is provided for general information and is subject to change without notice. Every effort has been made to compile this material from reliable sources, however, no warranty can be made as to its accuracy or completeness. Before acting on any of the above, please make sure to see a professional advisor for individual financial advice based on your personal circumstances.